Hey guys, yeah, it's hard to believe, but yeah, I'm basically doing this video here as I adjust the framing or the zoom a little bit. But yeah, I'm doing this video here because of the fact that when well, basically what I'm trying to say, and I do apologize if I ramble a little bit and kind of pause a little bit to think about what I'm going to say. I'm doing this, of course, unscripted, like I usually do with a lot of my videos. But anyway. The reason I'm doing this is because I went on Twitter. And somebody, I think it was Josh Sonic, he calls himself, I think. Josh Sonic or whoever's in charge of the daily Sally Acorn Twitter posting, basically posted a page from issue 222. And it got me curious as to when I reviewed it originally. So I looked it up. Of course, because on your YouTube channel, they can let you look up by putting in the keywords that you need of certain videos and figure out when you did them, or basically how long they are, or whether or not maybe you need to download them and piece them together, stuff like that. So I looked this one up, and it's hard to believe that it was a little over a decade ago that this happened. It was a decade this past May. And this month, believe it or not, this month here marks the beginning of the Sonic Genesis arc 10 years ago. Yeah, the very arc that supposedly did a first soft retcon reboot, or attempted to, on the Sonic comic and everything in celebration of the 20th anniversary at the time. And of course we know that led to the Mecha Sally arc, which ended 2011 and began 2012, and basically began essentially a year and a half, if not more so, from a comic book issue standpoint, of one of the more controversial, if not very well liked, story arcs they've done, if not one of the more convoluted ones. But getting back to this, it's hard to believe that it was over a decade ago, a decade and 4 months ago, believe it or not, a decade and 4 months ago, that this happened, that this issue occurred. And this issue, back in May of 2011, basically 2011 period, this was an issue that was long overdue. This was an issue that, despite all the crap, all the BS, that we can give Ian Flynn, and despite all the crap and BS he could give us, this is one of those issues. One of those issues where Ian Flynn did the right thing. You see, this all goes back to the Iron Dominion arc. The Iron Dominion arc, which began after issue 200. Officially began anyway. Robotnik, Eggman had gone insane. Snively took that as an opportunity to put him into a padded cell, and thus he and the Iron Queen Regina could take over, so on and so forth. Anyway, this is a moment though we had been waiting, I should say, for a long time, ever since 134. 134, we were waiting for this moment. And not just 134, but before we even got to the, Iron Dominion arc, we had a moment between Sonic and Sally, which led to Sally teaming up with Amy and, to an extent, Jeffrey St. John to save Sonic's butt from being Bark and Mammoth Mogul. But anyway, this is a moment overall, though, that everybody had been waiting for since issue 134. Almost 90 issues. 90 issues people have been waiting for this moment. And what's funny is this moment happened one issue less from 100 issues prior from the last time it happened. 123, it happened there. 222, it happened again. So almost 100 issues between both times. And that is saying something. That right there is patience beyond belief. Or that not just patience, but timing beyond belief. Now, why was 222 looked at as probably one of the better, issues that Ian had done? Well, it's real simple. Ian had basically built it up correctly. Ian knew that fans wanted Sonic and Sally back together. And one of his initial goals was to clean all the mess that Ken Penders, Carl Bowlers, Mike Perithro, anybody else that worked on the book as a writer or even an artist, but mainly a writer. Ian Flynn's goal was to basically fix and simplify a lot of the things that happened. Try to, fix and, correct mistakes that he felt were not needed or were made, and basically correct certain, situations and, remove certain characters and, landmarks and stuff like that, controversial or not, that were not needed. But in all that, one of the obvious things that Ian Flynn wanted to correct was the Sonic and Sally relationship. Because like a lot of us, when the slap happened in 134, Ian was a fan still. Yeah, he may have been ghost writing and looking over the shoulder and shadowing the likes of a Mike Perithro, a Carl Bowlers, a Ken Penders, if you will. He might have been doing that to some extent, but even then, he was still a fan. And he realized basically that what happened in 134 was unnecessary. Which is why when he started working with issue 160 and so on, his main goal was to fix, like I said, a lot of the things that happened, a lot of the mistakes, a lot of the situations that he felt were unnecessary. And Sonic and Sally's relationship was one of them. Now, did he do it immediately? Absolutely not. He did not do it immediately. What he did, though, is he took his time. He threw in hints here and there, like the one I mentioned about Sonic being captured by Bean and Bark and Knack the Weasel and taken to Mammoth Mogul and stuff like that. And he has to be rescued by Sally, Amy, and even to an extent Jeffrey. There's that moment. But then, we take a look at, the beginning of 201 where they're celebrating and everything, and she's arm in arm with him. That's another hint that he threw out there. But it wouldn't be, believe it or not, to the Iron Dominion arc. When we got, as I've talked about before, that relationship between Sally and Monkey Kong, when we got that relationship, I've said many times, even back when I reviewed this thing, back when it happened, the Iron Dominion arc happened, back when I reviewed it, every issue, and including the entire arc as a whole, when it was all said and done, I said that the Sally Monkey Kong relationship, and I even said it recently in a video, that the Sally Monkey Kong relationship was nothing more than the equivalent of what Zach Morris does along with the love interest in Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell Hawaiian style, Zach Morris fell for a girl about a little older than him, but was also a mother, while they were vacationing in Hawaii. They come back, we have another selective story arc, the summer job episodes on a beach. He falls for his boss's daughter, his boss's daughter falls for him. There you go. They even threw in a new character to take the place of the Kelly and Jesse characters while the actresses were out doing their own thing, and they put in with her. The point is, these were all temporary, and basically nothing came of them. We never saw the characters again. Why? Because Zach ended up with Kelly, just as fans had always wanted it to be. Fans loved it when those two were together, because they were meant to be. Even when Kelly was put with different love interests, even up into college, same with Zach, what was the end goal in the end? Zach and Kelly. The same with Sonic and Sally. That was the end goal. So what Sally was going through here with Monkey Kong is basically the equivalent of what Sonic would go through priorly with Fiona Fox and some others. Basically, they're just trying to find a way to move on, trying to find a new life and all that, but always figuring out that no matter what roads they try to take, the direction of those roads always lead them back to each other. And what Ken Penders did is what Ian Flynn did is he took them down a road that involved Sally having a bit of a mini romance, flirtatious romance with Monkey Kong doing the Iron Dominion arc. But in the end, what happened? Yes, Monkey Kong and Sally did kiss. There's no doubt. But did they stay together? No. Was it teased that that might happen? Yes. But what happened at the end of what was 211, 212? What happened? Sally and Sonic were the ones that went off together. Sally's the one that treated him to lunch. She grabbed his hands, wanted to spend time with him. And then the way she nuzzles up to him was the walking off in the final page. What Ian Flynn did basically is he used Monkey Kong in the relationship him and Sally were having as a way for Sally to realize that it doesn't matter who she ends up with, whether it's Monkey Kong or Jeffrey or whoever, they're always going to be very similar to Sonic in many ways. They're always going to have that Sonic-like persona, which is why Ian Flynn started at the end of 212, I believe, 211, 212, and basically built from there. He used basically the next 10 to 9 issues to get to 222. And in every issue, he threw a moment in there, a hint in there, that this friendship that got, rebuilt and was bonded once again as whole, stronger than ever, was becoming something more. And in 222, that's when it happened. 222 is when it happened. These two ended up back together. It worked out perfectly. They Ian Flynn, to his credit, utilized Monkey Kong in a very, very respectable way, because he made Monkey Kong realize, hey, I'm here, you need to talk to me or anything, I'm here. He wasn't jealous, he wasn't angry, he was accepting of it. He wasn't pushing the envelope or anything like that. He was accepting of it. When you compare Monkey Kong's reaction to Sally being with Sonic now and accepting that, you compare it to what Mike Peritto or Carl Bolas, whoever you want to put the blame on for doing the whole high school situation and Sally being tutored, at the castle, and that all because, and that basically being not, her brother's call, but Jeffrey's call, because Jeffrey was like an advisor to her brother, and it was mainly his call, mainly because in story, as we could probably tell, Jeffrey looked at it as an opportunity not only to make himself look good in front of the royal family, but to also finally try to win the heart of Sally. Here's the thing. Monkey Kong didn't trap Sally over in the Iron Kingdom. He didn't do that. He was accepting of it. He supported it. He was cool with it. And you know what's even better? During this issue, who evolved in a big way? Who changed and accepted in a big way the relationship? Amy Rose. Yes, Amy did acknowledge that still in her heart, in her belief in her heart, that her and Sonic would be together. But until that time comes, she's willing to support whatever makes Sonic happy. And if being with Sally makes him happy, that's all that matters to her. And I loved what they did there. And what's crazy is a lot of people complained about that. They said, oh, they ruined Amy's character. They made her supportive of it. They didn't ruin it, they matured it. Because if you have a character finally mature and grow up and realize, hey, yeah, I still feel for this person, and I still believe me and this person will be together, but if being with this person makes them happy, that's cool with me, that's a sign of maturity. And that's what Amy showed in this issue, in issue 222. So yes, it was a long time coming. It was a long time coming. Nearly 90 issues since the slap, and nearly 100 issues since the last time it happened. And for me and anybody else, we were happy that this moment occurred. We were happy it took place. Because anytime writers, didn't matter if it was Ian, didn't matter if it was Ken, didn't matter if it was Carl, Mike, Scott Shaw, didn't matter. Whenever somebody would break these two up for no reason, it would hurt the comic, sales and all. And they're not going to admit to that, but that's the fact. What is one of the driving forces for a book sometimes, a comic book? The romance between the character and his love interest. And, and this could be said for things like Spider-Man and Mary Jane, Superman and Lois, Batman and Selina, let's see, X-Men wise, you know, Jean Grey, Jean Clay, and Cyclops. And the list could go on. You know, a romance always helps the sales in a big, big way. And Sonic and Sally's relationship helped the sales in a big, big way. And anytime the writers, like I said, it doesn't matter who they were, tried to break them off for some dumb reason, you know, people would be upset about it and the sales would go down. But once word got out, hey, they're back together, we're going to get them back together, sales would go back up. And that's a fact. That is a fact. But overall, looking back at the fact that now it's been a decade, over a decade, you know, and I mean, hard to believe, 10 years, 4 months, this month. It's hard to believe. And yes, like I said, this month also marks a decade since the Sonic Genesis thing started. The one that led us into the Mecha Sally arc, one of the most controversial and disdained arcs out there. But if we ignore that, and we just focus on the fact that 2011 to 2021, basically 10 years. 10 years and 4 months. 10 years ago, and 10 years and 4 months ago, this issue happened. If we just focus on the fact that this was one of those issues that Ian did right before, pretty much as some people put it, he screwed it up, you know, down the line. If we look at the fact that he did this right, I don't think we can complain. I mean, he even kept the Sonic Sally dynamic going during the Sonic Genesis thing. He kept it going when 225 happened. He tried to keep it going even after, you know, before and after Sally potentially sacrificed herself. And now that legacy has been carried on by those at Archie Sonic Online for what they did in 249 and 250. So the point is this. The point is this. You know, Ian Flynn may have screwed up sometimes afterwards. Sometimes he did some good things. I'll give him credit where it's due. He did what he could with the soft retcon and reboot, and he gave us something alright. He gave us something decent, he gave us something alright, something we could all enjoy, despite the fact that it didn't have to be that way. But despite how you feel about him, and I know it's crazy coming from me, building up the way he built up to 222 after the Iron Dominion arc, and giving his hints in between then, before and even after, as he was building up to it, gotta give him all the credit in the world. Because he did the right thing. He did it the right way. But what do you guys think? What did you think of 222 when it came out over a decade ago? How did you feel about it? How did you feel about Ian Flynn building up to this moment the way he did from after the Iron Dominion arc and even before then? What were your thoughts? Comment down below. Let me know how you feel about it. Live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Check me out at all your favorite audio podcast locations, except for Pandora. Still working on that. Check me out at Vimeo at BW Roses for more videos there, especially the kind of PMVs and fan vids that, even though there shouldn't be a problem being here on YouTube, copyright reasons, they end up there, so check that out. Speed Me Up, the original Speed Me Up Sonic Sally vid is there. Check it out there. As well as check me out on Patreon at Brian Walmer and BW Roses. Basically it's the same one, but check me out on Patreon as well to, you know, get some exclusive awards and everything depending on the tier you choose. But as well as at my Teespring store, like I said, as well. Check that out too. But until next time, guys, take care. God bless. Let me know what your thoughts again are overall. But what did you think of 222 when it came out over a decade ago? How did you feel about it being built up the way it was? And that's about it. So until next time, take care. God bless. I'm out.